We're here at the Community Media Center, and I'm interviewing Francis Watson. And Francis, tell me, when and where were you born in Carroll County?
Well, the old site where I was born got tore down, and Home Depot sits there now on 140.
On 140?
Yeah.
And when were you born? What year were you born?
1924.
1924?
23rd January.
Okay. And when you were growing up, what was life like in Carroll County for you? I understand you had a family, like a pretty large family when you were growing up. So how was that?
10 boys and 8 girls.
Wow. What number were you in the 18?
Somewhere near the middle. 7, I think. I'm not sure.
Around number 9.
I could look it up. I got a paper, but I don't remember right off. It's somewhere around 7 to 9.
Now, so you had like a wide age group of people, I guess, in your house.
How do I?
You had a wide age group of people in your house, like older brothers and sisters and really young brothers and sisters. Did you ever have to take care of the younger ones?
No. I was outside running around.
Okay. And I guess just tell me how life was. Like, did you go to school? You said you hunted for a while you were younger.
I was what?
You hunted when you were younger?
Oh. Well, I remember the day we moved out of Westminster up to Linwood in a Model T Ford. We crossed the stream, set me on the running board, looked down and seen the clouds. It scared me. I thought I was falling in the sky. Now I hollered, my mother set me in the back seat and told me shut up.
She didn't have time for that.
that was in 26 when we moved there.
Okay, so you were really young when you moved.
Hmm?
You were pretty young when you moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I remember about the moving.
And did you go to school?
Yeah, I started school a year late because my birthday was in January. It had to be before January, or you had to wait another year. So I had to wait to the second year. Start school at Linwood. We walked about a mile.
Yeah.
Dirt road, mud roads.
How was the classroom set up? Were there a lot of students in the classroom?
2-room school.
2 rooms.
I really don't know how many was there. First and third grades in one room, 4 to 6 on the other side. I started school there. 31, I guess. 30 or 31. 31, I think.
And did you go to school with a lot of your brothers and sisters?
Huh?
Did you go to school with a lot of your brothers and sisters?
Oh, yeah. We all toddled down the road together.
Yeah.
Yeah. All we got polished with what was that? Soap. Lye soap. It made, used the old lard a lot of times to make soap with lye. That's what she scrubbed us up with, the brush. Sent us to school.
Oh, okay.
Patches, overalls. Summertime went barefooted. Of course, a good thing because when it rained, we didn't get our shoes wet. A mile of mud road, you can soon get messed up.
Yeah.
Especially when you pick up mud and throw it at each other.
Well, that would do it.
Huh? We've done a lot of that. Of course, get in trouble in school too once in a while.
Yeah. What happened when you got in trouble in school?
Well, bored a hole in the floor.
You bored a hole in the floor?
Put a string through it. Put an Aunt Liddy spool, a thread spool, on the other end under the floor. And a little stick on the top so you couldn't see it on the floor. Teacher would let pick up a stick and knock on the floor. She'd run to the door and nobody there.
Did she find out?
She never found out. But she got so she wouldn't answer the door.
So when
One day
someone
the knock come on the door, it was the door. And she wouldn't answer it. After this lady came in really kicking up a big fuss, Miss DeVore, they called her. County superintendent wondered why you didn't answer the door.
No.
So it got her in trouble, didn't it?
But you never found out, though.
No, never. That was one thing I done. Of course, out playing in the yard and everything. I always done a lot of stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
One guy was over hitting the ball and knocking across the road. We had to go get it. So they tar and chipped the road. We took the tar and made a ball and wrapped it up real tight and hard as a brick. Threw Dad at him. He hit the ball. Half the bat flew across the field. The ball landed at his feet. He never got a chance. He never got a chance to run.
Not with that. Not with that ball. I said not with that ball. No.
Well, that's the kind of stuff we used to do.
Mhm. So you played a lot of jokes on each other, stuff like that.
And then playing catchers. Guy got after my brother Butch, run him around the schoolhouse, got to catch him for something he done to him.
Mhm.
I saw him coming. I got in the cold bin. When I passed, I threw the door open.
So you got him before.
That stopped him before he got to Butch.
That works.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, just fooling around, stuff like that. So you said that was your cousin Butch or your brother? Your brother Butch. Okay.
Yeah.
Was he close to your age? Was he close to your age?
Year and 5 months older.
Yeah, so they're pretty close.
Yeah.
So tell me about, I was really interested to hear that you made money hunting when you were younger.
Oh yeah, we done a lot of that.
So how did you get into that?
It was hard times.
Mhm.
My father got laid off from Lehigh Cement Company.
Mhm.
I think 31, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
And actually never drew another penny for a year.
Wow.
We worked.
Mhm.
Worked for the farmers.
Yeah.
And they give you a couple pigs put in your pocket, a couple chickens, a dozen eggs, anything.
Mhm.
We worked for a grub, actually.
You're working for what?
Working for a grub, something to eat.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we get that farmer that would pay us boys. The man would take a row hay to heap all the way across the field, windrow.
Mhm.
Each one of us boys, Butch, Jim, and I, take a row. We'd get to the other end of the field same time they did, and get back to this end same time they did. At the end of the day, they got 75 cents, and we got a quarter. But we done the same amount of work.
And why was that?
That's the way it was depressing. You took what you could get.
Yeah.
And we found out, I think my father had said something about he had the rabbits. Going to sell them to Johns Hopkins,
Mhm.
tame rabbits, big ones,
Mhm.
and skin them out the long way and stretch their hide because you could get 10 cents a piece for them.
Mhm.
But a lot of animals, we started trapping muskrats and everything,
Mhm.
and we got good money for them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Polecat hide at that time was number one was $2.50. Number twos was $1.25
So you
a
got
hide.
a lot of money for those.
And we got to get 4 or 5 polecats in one night.
Yeah. Wow.
Muskrats was $2.50.
Mhm.
Brown ones. Black ones was $5 a hide.
Did you get a few black ones?
Only 2.
That must have been. How did you feel when you got those, though? You're just like.
Well, my brother was on one side of the creek and I was on the other. He was over a broom handler hitting this rat, hollering at him,
Uh-huh.
calling him with black numbers and everything. Boy, throwed him in the creek. You ain't no good.
Mhm.
But I had read in the magazine where they were choice. I pulled it out, spun it, and hung it up. He laughed at me.
Mhm. But you're the one that got $5.
Next morning, we had the other black one, the same trap.
Oh, okay.
Caught a pair.
So you got them back.
I'd done the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So we walked from Linwood to Westminster, Manger up on Pennsylvania Avenue, took our hides in. My brother took his in and he paid him. Looked at me and said, "Sonny, what you got?" I put it up on the counter and he said, "Oh, my land, you nice black ones." Boy, he turned it out and wrote it down. "This is choice, got another?" "Yeah, got another." Hand it up. Give me $5 a piece for them. Made my brother mad. He said they was his. He run me from Westminster to Linwood trying to catch me. I go home, my father wondered what's going on, and I told my brother, said, you can't touch him. He learned that reading. I told you to read, you don't do it. He learned it. Now you got to put up with that. You lost it because you didn't read.
Right.
But to him, I was a bum for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how we get into trapping. Then we hunt at night.
Yeah.
Flashlights all over the farms, everywhere. Didn't have to worry about walking on a farm them days. Jump across the fence and go.
Yeah, so people didn't mind?
Oh, now they shoot you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say.
We walked all over all the farms. And the other thing I'd done at school at Linwood I shouldn't have done, but got a bang out of it. Big guy there, Cecil, I won't mention his last name because people would know him. But anyhow, he was bigger than I was. Fed the stove with coal, soft coal. His turn come to work on the stove, tend to it. He'd make me go out and get the coal. He was bigger than I was. Pappy, go get me a bucket of coal. If I didn't go, he'd beat me up.
Yeah.
Hunting season come on. My father sat and got some special shells called Ajax Heavies. He got them out and looked at them. I said it was black. Little bell went off. That coal was black too. So I stole one of them when he put them away. I went to cover and got one. Next time Pappy had to go get coal, I put that shotgun shell in the bucket. And he never take a shovel, put a little bit of time like everybody else. He always go doing big old gulky, throw it all at one time. Well, that's what he done. I was suddenly getting ready to hold my ears shut. I was afraid to. But that thing went off. Off come the stove door, pipes come down, everything else, black soot all over the place. Run everybody out in the house, out in the yard. Maintenance man come and then cleared it all out. Got to ask the question what happened. Everybody said, when you put the coal in the stove, you put a little bit of shovel? No. Throw the whole bucket full in. Well, that was a mistake. Don't you ever do that again. So that formed the gas when it blazed up and blowed. I was like, boy, how'd I ever get out of that one? But he knew I'd done something.
Yeah.
So he never said, Pappy, go get me coal again.
He wasn't doing that anymore.
See, that's the kind of stuff I've done.
Yeah.
Putting her all my life, I guess. Till I grew up.
Now, how long did you hunt for? Like, just from what age did you start hunting, and how long did you do it for?
Well, I run off from home when I was 9. That's when I quit.
Where'd you go?
Out over the hill, barefooted in the snow and slush and cold and wind. Out over the hill on some farm, I picked me up my Model T Ford. I didn't know it at the time. He was my half uncle.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I don't know whether he knew me or not. He never said. He always called me boy.
Yeah, it's hard to tell then.
I'm not sure he knowed my name at the time. I don't think I told him my right name, if I remember right. I told him I was Jake somebody. I can't remember Jake who. But I think they found out who I was. I'm not sure. Because I called her Aunt Bird. She was my mother's half-sister. I found out later. I think they got together. I'm not sure. They never made mention of it, though.
Yeah.
I was there 4 years.
So you lived with them for 4 years?
No, now this is hard to believe. Depression time.
Yeah.
Hard times. Nobody got money for nothing hardly.
Right.
But a huckster come around every Wednesday out of New Windsor. And the farmers always want me to get pigeons out of their barn because they mess up things. And I could climb like a monkey. I hang a bag around my neck and climb up one hand, hang on one hand, grab a pigeon out of the rack, throw him in the bag. Every Wednesday come around, I sold him pigeons. And them that was laying and had eggs, I let set, and I'd sell squabs. At the end of 4 years, I had $650 in the bank nobody knowed about.
Whoa.
I never told anybody either.
I don't blame you.
Off of pigeon money and polecat hides.
So that was from the hunting and the pigeons.
I carried on hunting there at night a little bit.
Yeah.
Didn't have time for much, going to school and studying.
Mm-hmm.
But done that with pigeon money. And of course, farmer wanted a stack set up. When they thrashed, I'd go on the stack. That was $13 a day. Men in the field got 6. So I'd go on the stack. Nobody would go on it.
Whoa.
Straw up to here, sweat. I'd go out and fall in the watering trough. Horses out there drinking water, I'd fall right in with them, cool off.
So you worked the stack?
Yeah, I'd work straw stacks.
And what?
You got to walk in the straw and pull out your corners, build
okay.
it nice and square.
Okay.
So
So
it
no
don't
one wanted
slide
to
down
do
the
that.
barn when you come off.
Okay.
They don't do that kind of stuff anymore. They bale it now.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what that required you to do when you said stack.
Huh?
I wasn't sure what you meant when you said stack because I
Oh,
wasn't
big
sure.
straw stack, big as a barn.
Mhm.
You start at the ground and come up. When you come off of it, you got to have a ladder.
Mhm.
And you still know they're done thrashing too. They won't let you up and down.
Mhm.
Boy, it's a hot, hard, dusty job.
So you're kind of stuck in there, right?
Oh yeah, you won't get straw this deep. All they see is your head. They can bury you anytime.
And you said you got $13
$13 a day for that.
a day. What year was that when you were getting 13 a day?
That was in 36.
That
Coming
just
out of the
seems like
Depression.
a lot of money then.
We was coming up out of the Depression
Oh,
then.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. And prices was going up.
Mhm.
Of course,
So you're only
I
like
run off
9.
from there too.
Yeah.
I was in a 12-acre tomato field picking tomatoes all by myself.
Mhm.
My brother Butch come out of the woods, saw me. He come out and saw me. And him and I was always swimming. He said, you know, I was running around here hunting you. And he said, couldn't find you last year, but he said, I finally found you. He said, I found a milk pond down there, water it, let's go swimming. I said, okay. I went down to the house and asked him, I said, well, Butch is here. Wants to go swimming, can I go down? No, sir, boy. Got there in that tomato field, pick tomatoes.
Yeah.
I was green up to the shoulders anyhow, reaching down through them vines and hot. Yeah, it burnt me up a little bit. Butch left and went home. Next morning I was going down Kitchener Mills Road, down the hill, express wagon. Man, I was pedaling along. Sun come up, I felt free. That bit the old Model T Ford caught up with me, took me back. So he was hunting all over the place, couldn't figure out what happened to me. I wasn't there to milk my 4 cows or clean the stables or nothing. Thought maybe he got hurt.
Mhm.
The next time I want to leave, you let me know. I said, okay, I'll leave next spring, 1st of March. That's when farmers always move.
Yeah.
So that's what I told him. And I stuck to it too. I left 1st of March. The only thing I had a bicycle, I was express wagon tied on the back.
Mhm.
Went down the same hill. But I left.
And that was with your half uncle
Yeah.
at that point?
My half aunt, he was a half uncle by marriage. He's dead and gone now. Uncle Charlie Moore, we call him. M-O-R-E. M-O-O-R-E, Moore.
Mhm. Where'd you go after you left his farm?
Well, I stopped at a gas station. Let's see, I don't know what time of the year it was, 1st of March. But anyhow, I stopped at this gas station one day, and it was Mother's Day. I hadn't been home for 4 years.
How old were you at that point?
Huh?
How old were you when you hadn't been home for 4 years?
Well, I run off when I was 9. It was 4 years later.
So you were only 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when I did get something to drink, it was hot, pedaling 4 or 5 miles down by, so that thing behind me dragging it along. I had some change in my pocket. I was going to get a Coke. And then they talked me into staying. Sleep on the attic.
Mhm.
I didn't know a place to go, so I took them up. Put a nice fruit cake there and a casserole.
Uh-huh.
I bought it. Can't remember the price of it anymore. Put it in the bed of a bicycle, pedaled home the old dirt road. I guess from there, it'd been a mile or 2. Pedaled it home, given mother for Mother's Day.
Mhm.
She was in her 70s when she told me. With 18 kids, I was the only one to ever give her a Mother's Day present. so she gave me the casserole back. Yeah. Hard times.
Yeah. So when you left, why did you leave your house originally?
Leave what?
Why did you leave your house originally when you were 9? Or I
Well,
guess what were you thinking about when you left?
Pop took us in the old Model T to Union Bridge, the Ingalls store on the square in Union Bridge. Bought us shoes, notebooks, stuff to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of us got a pair of Boy Scout shoes, they called them in them days, for $1 a pair. And a nickel tablet and a penny pencil. And a big speech, don't wear that pencil out, I'll sharpen it for you, don't run in one of them grinders. Mm-hmm. And then he bought gum shoes. Jim got his, Butch got his, run out of money, I didn't get mine. Then he gave a speech coming home about not getting them wet and all that. Things were pretty good till after Thanksgiving. Rain, snow, and slush. Walked home from school, 2 mile of mud road. Mm-hmm. Both fields plowed, mud, plowed up fresh dirt. You know what shoe my shoes was in. I go home, I washed them up, put them on the oven door to dry them. He come in, saw them, asked my mother whose they were. She told him. He got the old rawhide out and went to work on my butt, put me to bed without supper. Mm-hmm. Well, that was bad enough. Next day, come home from school, same thing, snowing, sleeting, slushy. Mm-hmm. So I took them off, carried them inside my coat.
Yeah.
I don't know why he was in the kitchen when I come in barefoot, mud all over my feet. Oh, he jumped all over me again. What do you mean we're going barefoot in this kind of weather? Says, I ain't got no money to give you, go to the doctor for pneumonia. Mm-hmm. I got rawhide and went to bed again without supper. Mm-hmm. I got awake that morning about, I'd say around 3 o'clock. I remember the old alarm clock sitting there. I think it was around 3:30. Snowing, sleet, hail hitting the roof out there on the porch roof, tin roof. Mm-hmm. Boy, I go to school, Dad, get the same thing again. Mm-hmm. Got back in bed and said, no, I ain't. I get up, I seen it in a magazine, the Rebel Soldiers, that thing tied around their, how they carried their stuff. Mm-hmm. I took my long underwear, buttoned them up top, stuffed the legs through, hung it over my neck, everything I had. Went down, snuck through, had to go through their bedroom to get down. I snuck through that one down. When I went to go out the door, my shoes were sitting there. I guess that's the thing I shouldn't have done. I turned around, went back, got them shoes. She always set the table at night, put a tablecloth on for breakfast. Mm-hmm. I raised up that tablecloth and I put them shoes on his breakfast plate and left.
So he knew what happened.
That's all I remember. I don't know what happened after that, whether she took them off or left them on or what. That's why I run off. I went out. I don't know where it was. I thought it was on the other side of the world, but it was only about 3 miles from home. I run at this highway and they picked me up.
And that's when your
that's how I
uncle
landed on the
got you,
farm.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. I was going to stare at that rawhide again. I had enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to line us boys up all of us in a row, work on us one at a time. If we'd done something, wouldn't tell on each other. They'd work us all over.
Yeah.
And if you told, they'd work us all over, and one that told got a double one.
No way
you couldn't
out of
win.
It. Yeah.
No, you couldn't win. So
you're with your uncle 4 years, and then you went to the gas station, and you stayed with the people there?
Stayed there, and I went to work at 5 in the morning, and 8:45, jumped on my bicycle and pedaled Union Bridge to school, high school, and got out of school at 3:30, be home at 4. Then I worked till 10 o'clock at night, and Saturday I worked all day, and over 8 hours on a Sunday. For $1.25 a week. And I rebuilt automobile rear ends, engines, refrigerators, wash machines.
Did you teach yourself? Did you teach yourself how to do that?
the work was there, and I just tear it apart and see what to do it. And I've done that till in '42 when I graduated out of high school. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And when into November, they accepted me. I had to wait all that time to get in. It was a long list.
Yeah.
November, don't remember what date. But then they looked it over roughly, accepted me and put it down. Now we call you for a physical. That didn't come till March.
Wow. Yeah.
1st of March. And I passed. I had to fight, but I passed. Had to argue with them.
Why?
Well, I was a pound too light and a ½ inch too short. And there's only taken 10, and there was 11 of us.
Okay.
The other guy's a big guy, but he had a cavity in his tooth. So between us two, and I kept telling him I was going, don't take me, I'm going to hitch on the back of the bus and ride down anyhow. So the sergeant there, still had my papers, pulled mine out and said, tell you what, you want to try it again? He said, I'll pull your paper. So I go down the corner and said, eat a banana, drink a glass of water, and come back. So I did. Eat 2 bananas, 2 glasses of water. I doubled it up. And the guy ahead of me, there was draftees going through.
Yeah.
Ahead of me was on the scales. Went to stand too straight. The doctor said, stand up straight. I got my ½ inch. So when I got on the scales, I leaned over a little bit like this. Young man, can't you stand up straight? Yes, sir. Up on my toes, and he didn't see me. So I was tall enough, and I weighed a ½ pound too much. So I got in. That's how I got in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay, cool. What made you choose the Marines? What made you choose the Marines?
Everybody when I was a kid played cowboys and Indians. I never done that. I wanted to be a professional soldier. I wanted the best. And I've done a lot of reading. Now, I couldn't get the British Royals or nothing like that. But the United States Marine Corps is classified as the best.
Yeah.
And that's where I aimed, and I got it. Of course, it was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your experience in the Marine Corps at all?
That'd be awful.
I mean, you can talk about whatever you want, but if you have any stories you'd like to share, like, for posterity, then...
Well, I can't tell you about too much about Parris Island because they never believe it. It was deemed at that time by our Congress as a concentration camp. That's what they classified as. It was that bad.
And that was, I'm sorry, what was the name?
Oh, your training, you didn't do something right. It wasn't enough to get knocked down.
Yeah.
You didn't stand up straight enough, they'd beat you on top of the head and drive you down. One guy would do something wrong, everybody run for an hour, carrying everything you got. That's the way it was.
And that was in your training?
That's boot camp.
And where'd you have boot camp?
Parris Island, South Carolina.
Parris Island, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a drawbridge there. When you go in, they got a cattle truck with racks on the side, the ramp down. Everybody gets in, and still some standing there. So they get them all together there. Now, when I tell you boys run to get up that ramp, holler at the truck driver. He pulls up about 10 feet, slams on the brake. Everybody goes forward. Then they pack them in and throw the back end up. You can't move.
Yeah.
Then they stop on the bridge and tell you that's a drawbridge. That water out there is, we feed them. Keep sharks in there all the time. And you'll never cross this bridge. Guards on it with rifles and stuff, machine guns. The only way to get out is that water. You get past them sharks, you can get out of here. Otherwise, you're stuck here, so don't try to get away. Then they take you and unload you. Oh, boy, then it starts. Hollering, running, good, saying. Physical, one physical after another.
Yeah.
Go through a line, get 5 needles immediately. They jab you on this side, you go over, they jab you here, before till you get all 5 of them.
Don't even know what happened.
Great big needle about like that.
Oh, man.
It was in a stainless steel tube, a glass tube. They'd stick it in, give you a shot, and then throw it. It would dart in the table. Then guy pick it up and fill it, hand it over, till they all get through, naked. Take everything off. You can't have nothing. Cut your hair, everything. You can't have nothing. Can't keep your money, can't keep your watch. You don't keep nothing.
So you had no personal belongings?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there with clothes on, come out naked with nothing. Don't even have your hair.
How long was your training for?
That was 16 weeks.
Okay. Must have felt long. So it must have felt longer than 16 weeks, I guess.
Oh, yeah. That's always forever. I got to tell you something about the physical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the physical's tight.
Yeah.
It makes you jump up and down one foot, the other foot, oversized, side, everything. Run up and down, jump up and down, pull this, pull that, pick up weights, everything. Then they want to see if you strain yourself. You bend over and spread your cheeks, and a big fat guy there, whatever like this, bang, hit him with a whip on the back. I said, them the cheeks were starting.
That was like every physical or what?
We got out of there. It was terrible. We had to laugh at that fat guy. We shouldn't have. He was embarrassed and everything else. But some of them had a sense of humor. We'd laugh. Then we'd get in trouble. You run an hour for laughing.
Oh, man.
And fat guy had to run with us. Yeah. Yeah. Then guy above me text, we called him.
Mm-hmm.
His name was John Lowe. I had anything to do with Lowe's at our area or not. But he said he was going into industry when he got out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on a ranch in Texas, and he always stayed out in a line shack. He'd never come to the buildings. He liked it outside, or he'd join the Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Long leg, he was up overhead of me.
Oh, okay.
Every morning he'd holler, outside. I'd roll out of a bunk. Down can be long legs, down be down and everything else. Everybody's in a hurry. We got 1 minute outside and 59 seconds going. And you dress on the run. He come flying down over top every morning. One night I had to get tired. One night I get out about 2 o'clock in the morning when I heard him up there snoring. I moved the bunk over.
Mm-hmm.
He come down the next morning, hit the floor. And I forgot to move the locker box, so when he took off running, he fell over that. But that's kind of stuff went on down there all the time.
Yeah.
But you get knitted so tight, you die for each other.
Yeah.
No question about it. And combat training that's a hard deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get that's at New River, North Carolina. Then you go to Pendleton, California for advanced training.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to Linda Vista up in the mountain at nighttime, mountain training.
Linda Vista, where was that?
California.
That was in California too? Okay.
Southern California. And then you go to Maui,
Mm-hmm.
outlaying islands on the Hawaiian Islands in the mountains.
You said the Hawaii
Train for
Islands?
mountain night work.
You're in Hawaii? Okay.
And from there we boarded ship and went in the Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
We was 30 or 40 days didn't even see land.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did see land, it was Marshall Islands,
Mm-hmm.
Kwajalein. That was our first combat.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'd trained for dynamite and TNT, but I'd get jerked out of my outfit, throw the nose if it needed, because demolition man didn't last long.
Mm-hmm.
They was priority target for the Japanese, that and machine gunners.
Mm-hmm.
And officers. Of course, they didn't know it was officers. That's when the officers took their bars and stripes off and hit them.
Yeah.
Because Japanese pick them out and pick them off.
Mm-hmm.
But me carrying dynamite and TNT with these packs, you can't hide that.
Yeah.
Anything different, they shoot at.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a prime target.
Yeah.
But I come in out of the water 8 times that I can remember of. Some I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get put in another outfit and then come back.
Right.
And that's why I don't pay attention to the news.
Mm-hmm.
Kwajalein, 27th, or the 127th Infantry hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't get off the beach.
Yeah.
Went in and dug in the sand, wouldn't move. And after an hour or two, Howlin' M. Smith, we call him Howlin' Mad, So we send in reserves. That was us.
Mhm.
And we hit the beach. Asked what's going on. It says terrible back in them trees. So Sergeant Gibb said, well, boys, let's go get them. We went in. And when we come back a couple of days later, we fought all the way through the other side, got rid of all of them, done with all of them, come back, cleared up the island. They were still on the beach. We get a newspaper on board ship off the teletype to print it out. How the 127 took Kwajalein Island.
Mhm.
Boy, that burn us. That really burned us.
Yeah, I bet.
Another thing with talking about the news.
Mhm.
I worked at Thomas Bender Hunter
Mhm.
and charged of the trucks. And we'd done a complete brake job on a truck, sent it out. Instead, told the driver now go haul cement. Instead of going out and hauling cement, him and my helper in the shop run up and down the road, drawing the brakes, testing them out, seeing how they're doing.
Mhm.
Dual highway was all right,
Mhm.
10-wheeler. Coming back the old road was Crown Road.
Yeah, so then.
When you draw the brakes, the truck slid off.
Mhm.
When it hit the dirt, it didn't slide. It stopped. The mixture upset it.
Mhm.
I read an article in the newspaper where an office man, he come down and showed it to us. Had it on the bulletin board. Faulty brakes upset the truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I mean about newspaper? I've read it so many times. That's why I don't fool with it. I don't even buy one. I don't even read
Not trustworthy.
Huh?
Not trustworthy.
Well, they come up to somebody standing there and say, what happened here? And they say, well, the driver's standing there. He knew he wasn't going to say anything.
Mhm.
So he just said, well, the brakes failed, see? But they didn't.
Mhm.
But I sent the truck down, the white company had it inspected, come back 100%.
Mm.
That cleared me. Yeah. But that's the way things goes.
So how long were you in the Marines for? The duration of the war, or did you stay in the Marines afterwards?
Yeah,
Just be
come out
careful
in-
about your microphone. I know that you have your arms near your microphone. Just be careful about that.
I enlisted for 3 years, and they wanted to kick me out on a medical because I'd been in the hospital 6 straight months, and they didn't want me back on duty.
What were you in the hospital for?
Mainly a bad fever I had. They never got a name to it.
Just
One of
from being
23
on
unknowns.
islands? Oh, okay.
My head swelled out. Couldn't
Oh.
couldn't even get my helmet on. Arms would swell up, go down. Then next day the other one would swell up and go down. It wasn't moo-moo.
Mhm.
They have that just like one arm will swell up over and over and over.
Right.
Natives call it moo-moo. Elephantitis, it's
Yeah.
called.
So you had it everywhere.
But I had something they never did put a name on it. So I'm at 60 years, no compensation, buying my own medicine, and I had my back damaged, and bought my own braces and everything.
Mhm.
When I come out of the Corps, I come out in 46, the jobs was gone.
Mhm.
Wasn't any.
Yeah.
And a lot of the women in the factories wouldn't leave, they stayed.
Mhm.
So I ran around scraping up work. I'd go to farmers, clean their barnyards, clean the hog pens,
Mhm.
build a dairy, wire it, plumb it, anything at all. And it was, I think about 3 months. I found a job at Congo. Inside, I didn't like that.
Where was it?
Congolium there, down at Finksburg. So I went in and
What's
told them.
Congolium?
Huh?
I'm not familiar with that. What's Congolium?
Yeah, they made a base for linoleum.
Okay, so it's just a
And they
aluminum
made the
factory?
base there on a big spool.
Yeah.
Then sent a car in New Jersey and have it printed and everything for linoleum and housing and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And
But you didn't like it.
I went outside. I had a wood
Yeah.
pile outside, hauling wood over, chip it up,
Mhm.
and mix it with paper to make this linoleum. I worked out there for a while. And I went in the office and told them in November, I said, I'm going to find myself another job in March. I'm going to leave here next spring. I want to let you know. He said, when? I said, next March. Said, you serious? Or are you kidding? I said, no, I'm serious. I don't like it here. I don't like inside work. Looked at me a little while. His name is Man. I saw it on his desk. I said, you know, when we find out a man's leaving, I said, no. We give him a paycheck, he said, on Friday, don't show up on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving us that much notice? I said, that's right. I figured it's the right thing to do. So he said, all right. Now, I didn't remind him March. That's when I went to Thomas Hunter and hired there 1st of March.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I wound up there anyhow.
Okay.
And I didn't tell him I'd studied electrical engineering and all that. I just kept quiet about that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. You studied electrical engineering. Did you do that on the GI Bill?
I even studied while I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, while
I
you
was
were
in the
there.
hospital and everything.
Oh, okay. Did you study on your own, or did
No.
you go to a school?
Marine Corps Institute Detachment.
Okay.
And then when I come out, the hospital would send me home. I wouldn't go.
Mm-hmm.
I signed for temporary duty. They give it to me, 8th and I Street, Marine Corps headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you about that. That gate, they had trouble with people getting in.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have officers' parties and everything there. Somebody'd sneak in. So they put all combat veterans on the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Live ammunition, loaded.
They're serious.
On safety. Put me out there. You're only there 2 hours and off in 2 hours. 2 hours. Can't stay there too long.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, what's my daily orders? Nobody goes through that gate without identification. Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Identification card. That's all I need to know. Well, I wasn't there too long, about an hour or two. In comes a big Chrysler. Look, here's a Major General. Had 1 star. I thought he had 2, but might have been 1. Anyhow, I stopped him, asked for identification. He stood his shoulder up and said, lad, can't you see who I am? I said, yes, sir, I see who you are, and I'm telling you I got to have your identification. Well, I'll have you know, lad, I'm going through here, and I don't have to show you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped right in front of that car. I leveled that M1 down. I never moved, never moved. Threw the safety off. When the safety went click, I mean, the fan knocked the feathers all over the place. DOD, our sergeant, everybody come out.
Yeah.
What's going on out here? I told the lieutenant, I said, sir, he won't show me his identification. So he went over and talked to him. He got it out and showed it to him. I saluted him, stepped back, left him through. Then they called me off.
Mm-hmm.
Went into Top's office. Wanted everything to happen. I told him. Top had it all wrote down and said, well, you've done the right thing. You're go back to duty. Went to go out the door. Officer of the deck was up there. Said, wait a minute, lad. I went back and said, aye, sir. So I got one question. I said, what's that? He said, I'd like to know what would cause you to squeeze that trigger. So was you watching his eyes? I said, no, sir. I was watching the front wheel on that tire, and he wasn't going to run over me. If it would have turned, I was going to squeeze the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hit him, I said, yep, we studied that. We practiced snap shooting from the hip with a rifle now, mind you.
Yeah.
It's that fast in combat. You don't have time to aim.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could really hit targets, jump up and hit targets behind you. And I had that laid right in that windshield. I didn't have to look. He looked at me a little while. He said, well, you've done the right thing. Said, that general was just lucky that he didn't move any further, isn't he? Yeah, I said, we went backwards, I wouldn't have done anything. Come forward, I would have.
Yeah.
I said, that's all I was watching. So I got out of that. And I signed up for the overseas list immediately.
And you signed up for what?
Overseas.
Overseas?
Fleet Marine Force. That's the only place. Man, the glorious Fleet Marine Force. Anyhow, I signed it. What? No names on. Nobody wants to leave Washington.
Mm-hmm.
3 days' time, my records hadn't come in, so they couldn't stop me. I was going down the Panhandle of Florida, going west again. But it didn't catch up to it till I got to Pearl Harbor. Fever come back.
Mm-hmm.
Had to go see a doctor to get medicine. I was 8 or 10 days records come in. Boy, he jumped all over me. What are you doing out here?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I was there then. So I stayed and I taught electrical engineering there for 6 months till my enlistment was up.
Okay.
Then I took my discharge. They wouldn't let me re-up. That's how I got into Corps out. That was got out in March. I was discharged on Washington's birthday and tried to go home in March. That's when I couldn't find work.
Yeah, and that was, what, did you say it was 46 that you were looking for another work? 46? What year was that?
Huh?
What year did you leave the Marine Corps?
46.
It was 46, okay.
March 46. Yeah. That's when I went to work for myself.
Did you come back to Carroll County?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did it seem like it had changed after, because
Different
you'd been
world.
away for,
Different world.
what, 3 years? How long had you been away by
3
then?
years.
Yeah.
It was a different world.
How was it different?
Well, before I went in, everybody, you know, would talk about that guy's a good guy. He's answering his draft call and all that. And I enlisted. And come out when they talk about a boy getting killed, well, he'd done his duty and all that kind of stuff. Everything was military. And, everybody was interested in the war and everything. The war didn't even know it had ever been a war. I don't know why you ever went. You was a damn fool. Said could have stayed home here and made money and all that.
Who said that?
Everybody.
Just everybody
Yeah.
had that attitude in the county?
Huh?
Everybody in the county had that attitude, you mean?
Yeah, just everywhere you went. Yep. Yep. Well, why wasn't you down there and applied for a job down there? They was hiring down there last year. I said, I was still in the Marine Corps. Well, what'd you go there for? You was a damn fool. You should have stayed there and made money. Yeah. End of the year, I had more money in my pocket than them damn fools had that stayed home and made it.
Yeah.
They made it and spent it. I made mine, kept it. I had to work 2 years before I got money to put together to get married. Spending my money for braces for my back, medicine.
Yeah.
And the man that hired me at Thomas Hunter was really a good man. He was from the 40 and 8 in France in World War I. And he was a good legionnaire. And he told me, when he found out what my problem was, told me to go down to Veteran Administration. Said they give you medicine down there for that. Said that's what they're for. Well, I told him I have to take a day off, go down. He said, go ahead, I'll pay you. Any day you can't work, you sit on your locker box. So I'll pay you anyhow. So anyhow, that's why I never left. Good man. Anyhow, got down there all day at St. Paul Street. Run around naked in the cold. Man, I was froze. About 3:30, 4 o'clock. Send you up third floor. Walking off. Didn't have a chance to get sit down. The doctor sent mine down. I must have my papers there. What's the matter with you? Think the world was living? You know what happened to him? Him and I had a physical consultation. Then I got roped up as a hostile. And I went 60 years without a penny from him. Not even an aspirin tablet. Yeah. Paying all my own bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had busted back, busted shoulder. Effects from the fever coming back.
So they didn't think your claims were valid, or?
Nope, nothing. And after my first wife died, her and I, we met. And she talked me into going back. So with the first trip down, she can tell you. Walked in and sat down. What did that doctor say? You tell her. Looked at me, sat down, and said, you don't have rheumatoid arthritis, no knots on your knee, your knuckles. You know what we done? I said, what kind of doctor are you? He said, I'm not a doctor, I'm a surgeon. And I said, well, I guess that's enough for me. I got up and walked out. And somebody, I believe it was Westminster Legion, gave me a card about a man in Frederick. I went to see him. He sent me to West Virginia, Martinsburg. Entirely different place. You're treated like a human being over there. And they did do something for you. Give you on medicine. Go see the doctor. You got regular visits and everything. nice as they can be. I don't know what's about this place down here. But that's what I run into down there, and I don't mind saying it. It's a fact.
Mhm.
They want to hammer me on the head and try to make me say something else. I never will. I'll say just what I said, because that's what it was. Yeah.
Where was the place that you went for benefits? Where was it located?
Martinsburg,
Okay,
West
Martinsburg.
Virginia.
Oh no, I mean before that, when they didn't help you. Where was that?
That was on the St. Paul Street in Baltimore.
Okay, that was in Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah. St. Paul Street. Yeah, coming out then more bad. I lost a day's pay, but when Charlie Shipley wouldn't have paid me. Anyhow, coming out, the old car stopped right in the square under a red light. Light changed, I pulled out and stopped right in the middle. Cop board told me, get out. I said, I can't do nothing about it. The thing stopped. I can't talk to it. I gave him the sass because I was mad.
Mhm.
He called the tow truck. On the phone, he called the tow truck right away. I raised the hood and seen what trouble was. Back truck got a nail, drove it down the side of the post, and my battery made contact again. Hit started. When I pulled out the square, the tow truck was coming in. I don't know who paid him, but I was gone. They didn't know I was a mechanic. I laughed at this day. That truck coming out, his siren going, boy, I guess he had a customer he could burn, but he didn't get me.
You weren't there.
Yeah. And it was good at Thomas Ben Hunter. Good or poor.
So what was your job at Thomas Bennett Hunter? What job did you have? What was your title?
I had to keep a fleet of mixer trucks. Charlie Shipley told me to keep them going at all costs.
Okay.
So
you kept them mobilized and running?
it was, well, one needed working on or broke down, I'd go get it, bring it in, fix it,
Yeah.
or go out on the road and fix it.
Mhm.
Get a wet load, have to get it out of drum somehow before it sets up.
Mhm.
And nowhere, just keep the fleet running.
Mhm.
Yeah. I also kept some records on work I'd done, ordered parts, cataloged them in,
Mhm.
took them out and put them on and wrote them up. In the wintertime, get help.
Mhm.
Pull out engines, rebuild them, put them back in. Brakes, air brakes, hydraulic systems. And I'd go to school on the hydraulic systems when they come out.
Mhm.
D's Hydraulics in Baltimore is where I went.
Okay.
Study them. Went to air brakes control, learned air brakes
Mhm.
on loan. Because I couldn't send a man out not knowing that the job that I'd done on that brake
Yeah.
would work for him when he needed it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I had to know.
Mhm.
For a moment, if I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't do the job.
Mhm.
So that's where I went. Had a good job, 28 years. Yeah.
And you said that you didn't tell people that you were educated at all.
Mm-mm. Never told them. I never even told my brothers and sisters, my father and my mother.
You didn't tell them either?
Mm-mm.
Why didn't you tell them either?
Well, they didn't get very far in school, most of them. I had two brothers got to 7th grade, I think.
Mhm.
Some of them went out and quit 2nd grade, 3rd grade, all that. And when I got my high school diploma, I took it down to show it to my mother. My father got it. He kept it. And my mother said every week he went to town, he had to show it to everybody in town.
Mhm.
Then every time something would come up, need some figures of some kind on Sunday down there at dinners or something, they always jumped on me. Then my father jumped, see, you went to school like he did, you do it yourself. No, I see. And I didn't want him cutting them down.
Mhm.
So I put it away. Never did show them other diplomas.
Yeah.
I got on electrical engineering. I studied the atom, molecular theory,
Mhm.
atomic theory, studied that real hard, day and night.
Did you teach yourself, or did you go to school for it?
Oh, I had to go to school. I had an old colonel to answer to.
Uh-huh.
I was also studying while I was teaching. If you want to learn something real good, teach it.
Yeah. I bet you have to know it. Was this in Florida when you were teaching? Well, you said you taught in Florida when you were in the Corps? Oh, I'm sorry. You said you were in Florida, right, when you were teaching?
No.
I'm sorry. I must have.
No, when I wouldn't take my medical discharge,
Right.
they sent me to 8th and I Street in Washington for temporary duty, be back in 30 to 60 days for reevaluation.
Mm-hmm.
But the volunteers list there for the FMF, and I signed up. And then 3 days later, I was going through the Panhandle, Florida, going west coast again, overseas, second time.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of then. Yeah, so you taught before you went.
Well, first trip we made from New River, North Carolina, we went to Florida, out through the Panhandle on a train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we studied bayonet practice. Bayonets, fighting, bayonets and fighting. Stick in a straw sack, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in Arizona, the train stopped. They got me off at a road crossing. I had a row of tanks. Nobody crosses this road or gets on this train to cross or under it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop them. And I said, I don't have any live ammunition. Said, you won't need that here in this country. Said, you got that rifle in your hand, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We sat there about 2 or 3 hours waiting for other trains going through. And a little bit before we got ready to leave, a girl come up on a bicycle with overalls on. Went across and I stopped her. She said, no, I ain't stopping. I ain't crawling into this train. I've done it before. I said, you're not going to. She said, I'll drag my bicycle under and go on the other side. I said, no, you ain't. My orders are to stop you. She said, well, you ain't going to stop me. She threw her leg up on the seat, put her foot on the pedal, and I went to give her a little punch.
Mm-hmm.
I had to realize the weight of that rifle. I went in a little bit too far.
Yeah.
During the whole war, the only person ever stuck with a bayonet was that girl. Hours and days and weeks of training with it, never used it except that little girl. Isn't that something? Don't make sense.
That's just.
Sometimes I wonder if I ain't sharpening pencils. I often laugh about that, the way it turned out, but I pity that poor girl. The blood flew.
Yeah. I bet it surprised her.
Oh, it did. I mean, she jumped off that bike, hollered and squealed. And I hollered, Sergeant Guard. I still remember it. Sergeant Guard, post number 6, casualty. Boy, they come flying them everywhere. That's what happened. I thought, boy, I got the heat on me now. Lieutenant walked by, said, good work, lad. Said, that's what we're looking for. They're hard.
Was he joking or was he serious?
Oh, no, he was serious.
Okay.
He meant it. He meant nobody goes through there. He meant they was having so much sabotage.
Yeah.
Getting into Japanese country, people out the West Coast. And a lot of them run off. They didn't catch them.
Yeah.
They was all over the country. They was afraid they'd go into sabotage, but they never did, that I heard of. Of course, we left the West then. We left there then. Went out to San Francisco in a warehouse, 3rd floor up. Walked in on the weather deck on the USS Boston, heavy cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
Just come in off a shakedown cruise. Went west on that and dropped us at Pearl.
Okay.
Then we went over to Maui, more training. I thought we were ready for combat.
Yeah.
They said we wasn't, had to have more training.
Yeah. Now, what kind of training did you have in Hawaii again?
Night training.
Just night training?
Night fighting.
Okay.
And going out in the jungle, dropping you, find your way back and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I always had to bring the boys back. I could shoot a back azimuth on a compass and they couldn't, so they give it to me. Squad leader, the corporal, he couldn't, so they give it to me. I was just a little grunt in the line. All these big guys and me little. I'd tease them.
Yeah.
I'd get about halfway back. I'd say, I just noticed something. That little dot on my compass here, I thought that was the back end of that hand, and you know what it was? It was a bug. You ought to hear the growl and grumble. That was dirty, wasn't it? We had a sergeant, big handlebar mustache, way out here like this. He rolled up in the daytime.
Did he like wax it?
Yeah, way out, yeah. Got there in the morning, go, all right, fall in, you bunch of, I won't tell you what he said anyhow. Beeswax. Isn't it a here or there? I got so sick of that after 10 days. One night I wasn't sleeping too good. My tent was right next to his. There was 5 other guys in there. I was really good at sneaking out. Boy, I could do that real good. I was used to that sneaking out. That night training made me a professional. I got out of that bunk and run that tent flap. They always make noise, but I held it together, let it down real slow. Went over and got in his. Had my scissors out of a sewing kit they give you. Well, they don't give you buy it. But anyhow, it was almost 10. But anyhow, I go old red whiskers. I had to saw and finally I got through. When I went to get the other one, he turned over. So I froze. I heard him snoring again. I went to get, he was laying on it. So I snuck out to where he shaved, hung it on the nail where he put his mirror. Come back in bed.
So you took like part of his mustache and put it on his finger? What did he do when he found out? Did he make you guys run a lot or something?
He ran there outside, and everybody went tearing out the flaps. He was kind of out there and got in line. You ain't straight in line. You get back. You get back. You get up there and holler all kinds of orders. Everybody stopped. Got out in front, going to give us our orders. Let's do that. Yeah, there. I can't tell you what he said. Then when he went over to shave, seen it hanging there, we didn't get any breakfast. We run for an hour and a half in our skivvies.
Was it still worth it?
up in that cold mountain. I'm going to run you to somebody tells me who done this or somebody admits it. Well, he couldn't get it out of us. Had to go to training at 10 o'clock. Can't go without chow. You got to go back and get that. So he had to bring us back. After chow has lined up, Major's coming around to take us out. Walked up, he got us in ranks. Then he cut the other side off to make it even. Major walked up to him. Why, Sergeant, trimmed yourself up. You look real good this way, and his face got red clean down to hair. I'd done made a positive thing of being in the second row back instead of up front where I always was. I changed with the guy. I said, emergency, I got to be back here. Okay. We buddies stuck together. Because I knew I'd have to laugh. I don't want him to see me. Then we got orders and left. That's another trick I pulled on somebody. I was always doing something like that. It's one I didn't get killed. But we'd get some of the other guys together like that and do that kind of stuff.
And then after Hawaii, you went over.
That's when they hit the water.
Yeah.
From then on, it's a funny thing. You never know the month, the week, or the day.
Yeah, you start losing
day
track
in,
of
day
time.
out, day in, day out, that's all. Only thing I remember for time, we come off of Kwajalein back aboard ship. I heard the sergeant telling the Captain Hazard, that, you know, we really gave them a good Valentine present, didn't we? That'd give me an idea of 14th of February. That's all.
Yeah.
You never knowed, never. Payday was never regular. We went 3 months one time without pay. We was out ahead of the stuff. It never got to us.
Oh.
Sometimes the food never even got to us. Live on K rations.
When that did you have to find your own food or anything? Or did you have to find your own food or anything
like
that? Or?
Oh, we did a lot of that too, but you didn't have to. They give you 3 boxes of K rations. That's 2 little dog biscuits and a box of chocolate and some tar. It looked like, and so it looked like tar and make a hot mixed coffee. And if you got a pretty good strong tongue, it won't take the hide off, but it will blister it. What stuff.
And
that was the cable. I used to heat mine. I'd dig a hole in sand, put a stick of dynamite, cut the end of it off, put my helmet over it, and light dynamite, go off like a road flare. Dynamite would burn real good.
Yeah.
Come out of combat, I'd done that and scared the guys, all jumped out of the tent and run. I was sitting there looking, laughing, drinking my coffee. But when they come back, I left. I had to get in order to get away from them.
Where did you do your dynamite training for that?
New River, North Carolina.
That was in North
Went
Carolina.
demolition school there. Yeah.
Did you really like it? Did you choose it, or did they pick you for it?
Well, my buddy and I, Treamer, was always signing lists. I wanted to get in the tank. The lists were always full. Never get in it. Wanted to be a machine gunner. Could never get that. Him and I came back to Chow one morning. There was a volunteers list. We didn't pay attention to it. We just signed it. Demolition. We didn't know what it was. We thought we were breaking up stuff. You know, had demolition derbies and all that. But it wasn't. It was explosives.
Yeah.
We get in there. We was the only two on the list. Committee give a big speech. You know how brave you were to volunteer for this.
He was like, "What am I doing?"
You're my boys. And his crowd got ready to leave. Go to school. I said, "Yep." Does anybody got a question? I got one. I said, "What's that?" I said, "What's demolitions?" I can't tell you what he said. Now, since you know about that, now what? I said, "I'm going anyhow." He said, "Good. What I said still stands." Yeah, the bridging outfit had just built a bridge there at New River across the cavern with no nails. Tank, strong enough for a tank. We rolled in there. It told us to give us 1 hour to get into the crater. We climbed over our climbers, put our explosives on it, hit the hell box, and the only thing was the guys that built that bridge sitting there cried. We laughed.
All that work, one instant.
Yep, hit the old hell box, bang, it's gone.
Yeah. Oh man.
Can't do that in combat though. It works different. Don't work the same. You ain't got time.
How was it when you actually went over to fight? Like, was it kind of overwhelming, you know, or did you think you had enough training, or like how was that?
Oh, we thought we was ready to take on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. First combat they dropped the gate on that Higgins boat. We went out to sound like a bunch of Indians hollering, carrying on. That was the only time. Well, we were real serious after that. We found out bullets were real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when the boys, I tell you, dug in on the beach. We come back from the other end of the island. There was a truck sitting there. And I went and looked at it. Had a GMC motor in it, but it was left-handed. It was opposite. Of course, GMC had a factory over there. I got things started. Before I got it started, dead nips laying around. One had a pretty good mess of rigor mortis in him. Tied his hands to his steering wheel, and they all grinned. Put a stick in his collar and string around his neck. Started that thing up and headed right down toward them guys down the beach.
Oh man.
They got to shoot. His head blew it off, and everybody's still shooting at him.
Oh God.
Somebody threw a grenade and upset the truck, and that stopped it. I got in trouble for that one. Had to do guard duty.
Was guard duty?
Not a 4-hour stretch. All
all
night.
night.
In combat area, all night.
Oh man.
For rousing up the boys that hadn't done any fighting yet, getting their nerves roused up before they get in. Treamer thought it was funny, my buddy.